It is December 1703 in SC when Cotrezin appears at Quilsberg Academy. He is profoundly nervous. Would he pass the exam? His master had told him it was one of the hardest exams to gain acceptance into any school. Cotrezin remembers that his master also had confidence that he would pass. He approaches the registration desk and lists his name. The first test is a practice sword fight. Cotrezin's opponent is a guy named Ernesty. Cotrezin and Ernesty face each other in a sword duel. Cotrezin easily defeats Ernesty with the techniques his master taught him. The next test assesses mana capability, measuring how much mana each student possesses. Ernesty achieves a high score on the mana capability test. Cotrezin scores a medium on the mana capability test. The third test is an all-out battle where anything is permitted. Cotrezin resolves not to use his unique ability, believing his swordsmanship will suffice. Ernesty begins to parry Cotrezin's attacks, mirroring the first stage of their fight. Suddenly, Ernesty flawlessly copies Cotrezin's moves from the first test, taking Cotrezin by surprise. Cotrezin's surprise gives Ernesty an opening. Ernesty charges in with a punch. Before Cotrezin can activate his unique ability, he is thrown out of the ring, resulting in Ernesty's victory. Because of his performance in the second and third stages, Cotrezin anticipates a low placement. He is placed second to last in Section A. There are Section B and Section C. Section C is for scholars and researchers, not fighters. Section A consists of students who excelled in both theory and practical exams. Section B comprises students who performed decently in the practical exams. Section C is for students who excelled in theory but were less proficient in practicals. Hence the scholars. Despite the hierarchy, Cotrezin's placement isn't terrible, but being second to last in Section A is barely acceptable. The school term starts in January, but Cotrezin is granted admission, a room, and access to the training hall. Cotrezin meets Ernesty again in the training hall. Ernesty explains that his unique ability is self-belief. If he comprehends something and believes he can do it, he can. For the most part, Ernesty uses his ability as a replica, believing he can copy someone's moves and succeeding. Ernesty suggests they train together. Cotrezin asks what Ernesty would teach him in return. Ernesty notes that Cotrezin is unable to use magic because his mana reserves are low and he didn't imbue any magic into his sword during the practice fights. Ernesty also points out that he sensed no mana fluctuations from Cotrezin at all, implying Cotrezin never even instinctively tried to activate his magic. Ernesty offers to teach Cotrezin magic and some basic usages. Cotrezin, rationalizing that Ernesty is ranked A15 while he's A24, agrees to train with Ernesty to both make a connection and learn. Cotrezin is hesitant to show Ernesty new moves, fearing Ernesty could copy them. Ernesty's ability only allows him to copy one thing at a time. He must focus his belief. Ernesty reveals that the punch he used to win the third fight was achieved through believing he had super strength. Cotrezin tells Ernesty that he, too, possesses a unique ability, but refrains from revealing it. Cotrezin explains that his primary problem is his inability to use mana internally. Ernesty suggests using mana externally but warns against relying on it due to Cotrezin's limited mana reserves. They continue training, focusing on enhancement spells. One day, Cotrezin asks Ernesty if he can copy unique abilities. Ernesty confirms that he has never been able to copy anyone's unique ability. Ernesty recounts an instance when he came close to copying the chantless magic of Frank Brox, the top-ranked student in the 1704 batch. Ernesty witnessed Frank Brox practicing his chantless magic. even though he didn't show it during the entrance exam. Ernesty was able to create some magic, attempting to use it on a wind slash with a small gust of wind as result. He thinks the wind lash was a residual energy thing. Kotrizin finds this intriguing, given unique abilities should be incopyable and the fact that chantless magic is a generational unique ability held by the Brox family. Kotrizin remains skeptical. December ends, and school begins in January. On the first day, after classes, all the first-year students are lined up. The second-year students approach to bully and rag the freshmen. They assert their dominance, claiming it's tradition to show the freshmen their place. Melissa, ranked A3, arrives to oversee the interaction and ensure things are going well. Class A is full of nobles. Very few are admitted on merit. Kotrizin is not from a noble family. He's from a village. Ernesty is an orphan. There are two other commoners in Class A, A25 and A23. A second-year student ranked A5 insults Kotrizin and Ernesty, stating because they are commoners, they are not even worthy to kneel and instead must lay down on the ground. Kotrizin refuses. He declares he won't even kneel. He challenges the second years, asserting they are not superior. Kotrizin's challenge is motivated by his ego, even though he is ranked A24 in the first year. Melissa considers Kotrizin's defiance an insult to her seniority, and decides she should handle it. Kotrizin launches a swift, slashing attack, showcasing his speed. Kotrizin's slashes are delivered with a wooden sword, lacking any magical enhancement. Despite the limitations, Kotrizin's sword technique is effective, inflicting several injuries on Melissa. Kotrizin realizes that one can only use their unique ability when they are not using mana. Kotrizin attempts to capitalize on this by exhausting Melissa's stamina. She cannot enhance her movements with mana while healing. When Kotrizin closes in, Melissa expels a large amount of mana, pushing him back. Kotrizin manages to land a cut on Melissa, but he is knocked back. As the distance between them grows, Melissa activates her healing ability again. Kotrizin deduces Melissa's fighting style, expelling mana to repel close targets and healing when the target is distant. Kotrizin decides it is time to use his unique ability and reveals it. He throws his sword, which Melissa dodges. As soon as she dodges, Kotrizin swaps places with the sword and kicks her in the head. Melissa is caught off guard by the sudden attack. As she was not using mana for defense while healing, Kotrizin calculates that he kicks her in the direction of the sword so that as soon as she lands, the sword is behind her and he swaps with the sword again and kicks her again. Melissa takes some damage, but is not thrown back. Kotrizin is thinking that she can just heal herself if he gives her space. He brings back his sword and prepares the moonless silent cleave. It's described as a technique that could disintegrate the moon if executed perfectly. Thinking it's a normal move, Melissa, already near the arena's edge from Kotrizin's swap, pours mana to throw him out. The mana pushes him back, but the cleave goes forward. The cleave cleanly severs Melissa's hand. Before being forced out of bounds, Kotrizin throws a rock into the air and swaps places with it. He appears behind Melissa, placing his sword at her neck, signifying victory. A teacher intervenes, stopping the fight and reattaching Melissa's hand. Kotrizin is not declared the winner. He technically touched the ground when he picked up the rock, thus being out of bounds. Melissa tells Kotrizin that she will keep an eye on him. She feels insulted that she nearly lost to him. Melissa and others leave. Some dislike Kotrizin, calling him a monster. Others criticize him for being a commoner and his ability being cheap. Ernesty tells Cotrezan it is okay to be called a commoner. Cotrezan disagrees, asking why they would discriminate against them.